And right. I'm determined to win a contest. Hey.
Hey, feeling better? Yeah, feeling better.
Feeling all right.
Yeah, good. You look
Here, Renee. Before I forget. Oh, is that right? Oh, get you through my turn. Thank you, thank you.
All
I guess
kinds
I
of-
work today.
Yeah, I have all kinds
Thank
of
you.
stuff to bring in my.
Thank you for getting that for me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Good.
It's fun.
Okay,
Yeah, good. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
I found, oh, thank you, Carrie. Then I found an article by Martine Batchelor, who is the wife of Stephen Batchelor. And if you looked at either of them, you could not imagine that these two would be a couple, and they're amazing. They're just an amazing teaching couple. They're amazing as individuals. They are insightful, wise, and compassionate, each, of course, in their own right. She was a Korean nun, just to say a little bit about Martine, but she's French. And so she, speaking French, also now speaks Korean, then speaks English. And if you met Stephen Batchelor, you would go, what a gigantic intellectual head that guy has. And she makes him look small. Uh, yeah, she is a genius beyond. And she writes in the very simplest way. And I love that. I love somebody who knows it in such depth and actually with such scholarship, but who talks about it in the most uh, everyday ways, and that is Martine. So if you read her Gift of Change article, you would have gone, I don't know, that didn't say that much. Uh, it said change is hard, but then it's good for you, and it cultivates skills. And she gave an example, I think, of an itch. Um, right? And how, if, as in the Zen tradition from which she came, what they understand is this intimately. And so they suggest not scratching as a way to learn that all things, even those things that are uncomfortable, are bound, not just likely to change. We use that word a lot, right? It's probably going to change. No, it's not accurate. It's absolutely going to change. And then we spend most of our time trying to get out of that truth, don't we? Like, not this. Well, but not this. Well, no, not this. And what Martine says in all that subtext that she didn't write, and then we'll use some other current voices like Joseph Goldstein's and Pema's, it says every moment of resistance to this essential truth is the primary cause of suffering, and that there is no other, and there is nothing greater. Not you, not your personality, not the way you were born, not where you came from, not who loved you and who didn't, not none of it. These are just conditions arising and passing. The real cause of suffering is the reality that change is going to occur, and then by itself, not suffering yet, what does it require of us? Change, by its nature, is not the cause of suffering. In fact, we're going to talk about the grasping, clinging, craving, wanting, not wanting nature of this unskillful, and these words are the ones used, not me being critical, unskillful, unwise, unbeneficial mind. And then it says, the part I love, which is if you can turn towards the truth of change in all things, then you are born into the truth of compassion. If you can open to the nature of change in all its forms, you will then only have one response, and that will be that of compassion. Can anybody say why? It's his only result. As painful, as scary, as hard as it is, as not wanted as it is. And remember, all of this, not our difficulty. We're going to do all, like, couldn't I avoid this? Wouldn't there be a way to work with this? And that may even be skillful, right? Isn't there some way besides this suffering? I think that's a valuable inquiry. Libby's going to the doctor on Tuesday. It seems smart, right? Let's check it out. That seems like a wisdom. What is our resistance? So if I can say, your greatest open heart will be the result of the extent to which you can open to the truth of suffering, what gets in the way? Fear, isn't it? Like, how much? And I'll do a little. I'll get a little close, or I'll do a little that. But really, the truth of compassion's arising is actually much bigger, isn't it? It means, and I said this during retreat, that your own heart will break too. Isn't it? It is. And it's the must in the lesson. But what's our tendency, would you say? Because we're all trying very, very hard, by the way. And I think we're a community that tries harder, I will say, than many others, because we recite, review, and commit ourselves to the Bodhisattva vow every time we sit. We're a community of bodhisattvas, not just practitioners. And so what do we do? Anybody? I do it. Distract. Avoid. Rationalize. Personal favorite. Personal. Well, I can explain this. There's 25,000 reasons why this is going this way. Right? To make it more comfortable for me. Actually. For me.
Shut down.
Shut down. That's sure. What else? We're going to name all the hindrances right here. What else do we do? Numb. Avoid.
Kind of negotiate.
I love that one too. If you're really up there, you negotiate. Isn't that a fun one? I'll suffer this much, or I'll go in that much, and then either you, the sufferer, or others have to get in there. Like, I'll do this, and then you climb it. And if you don't climb in, then I don't have to stay in. And we got a lot of, right, don't anybody notice this? We're doing that all the time, particularly as in our workspace, in our work environments. Right, this tendency is to complain a lot about what other people aren't doing and how they ought to be doing it. And if they were only doing it, things would be better. And the truth is that may functionally be true, right? If somebody else is getting the bowl, you don't have to get the bowl. And that could be relieving. And the other truth is you're not opening your heart.
And we go to monkey mind, predicting the future.
That's right. What about, what if not, right? So we all know this. And the teaching actually says there is no possibility. So we don't have to work so hard for just stopping that. Right? The teachings say, forget about it. You aren't just likely to get over it today, now that I've said it, and now that you've claimed it, that it will not come that easily, right? But now we know, oh yeah, those tendencies, I have some of those, or I might do this. And that's useful. That is a cultivation of factors, we call them, leading to wisdom. But it's not wisdom yet. And wisdom, along with compassion, is the path. It is, in fact, enlightenment realized. These two things come together with the wisdom and then the known, felt arising of compassion in relationship to the truth, right? Not just the truth, not enough. Not just a bleeding heart, compassion, not enough. But the wisdom mind. And we can cultivate the wisdom then, say the teachings, by looking directly at our own minds. And we have to then be able to do so with the possibility of feeling for ourselves. Otherwise, don't look. Really. Because mindfulness alone is not sufficient. And as a mindfulness teacher, I can say that easily. It is not sufficient. So if you go, yes, I recognize X, this is the good beginning. And in fact, it is its requirement. But what must follow, and the part we don't like, is then I have to feel for the truth of suffering in that. In that. And I have to stay with myself in the midst of it, even harder, because I like the touch and go model. I saw it, I felt it, good, good to go. And the teaching says this is not sufficient. You must abide in the truth. But there is no abiding then without compassion and self compassion. I'm using those words interchangeably here so we don't get into either ors. Without compassion, there is no capacity to abide. So when I say that, what comes up for you all? Because we like the abiding word, but we have to change some of its characteristic. What comes up when I say there is no abiding without compassion as your companion, meaning self-compassion?
Because with the abiding, if you don't have compassion towards it, the abiding almost has a clinging to it itself, right? Like I've got to hold this, I've got to be here, instead of feeling for yourself in the struggle.
Yes. Courtney, can you talk about this with the loss of Pearl?
Yes. It was, I had lots of moments of a lot of fear and a lot of sadness. And I just had, I just placed my hand on my heart and told myself, like, it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. I know you're scared. Instead of, I also had those moments too. I'm not going to say that I'm fully enlightened, but I had those moments of like, she's got to be found. She's got to be there. She's got to come home, all of those. But in those moments, I work to remember
Yes.
and hold the love for myself in those moments of
Yes.
fear.
Yes. How did it work out?
Um, it worked out. You know, I was at a work conference during all of this, and I would have moments where I would cry and just hold myself and just be there on the plane, all of these different places, and but it created a resilience in me
That's
where I
also.
was able to hold it and know that I was scared
Yes.
and know that I didn't know. That's, I think, the hardest part. It's just that I didn't know how it was going to turn out.
Yes.
Um, and I was able to manage it in a space that I think was a lot more calm than it would have been if I hadn't had that practice.
Yes. Yes. You said a very important word because resilience is one of the gifts of our compassion practice, isn't it? There is then an abiding, arising capacity, I'll call it first, and from that capacity to mindfully stay, be present, and feel for oneself. And then all those others, didn't it happen for you too? You
Mm.
went, all those people who've lost their dogs, or lost their kids, or lost their keys, right? It just keeps expanding its true nature, right? And I can feel, and then our heart breaks and opens a little bit more, isn't it? So all of that resilience, the capacity to abide, and the truth of liberation. Then we finally just stop fighting, don't we? We don't fight with the truth anymore. We just acceptance, right? And then there is a certain softening. Anybody notice that when we're not fighting with it? And from that very softening of the body, somebody might notice, we're going to practice today, that the actually heart has a little room in the very softened body. to feel more. And we don't always like that. Anybody notice in a moment of suffering, you're just one big rock? Right? And it's both protection and also keeping out that pain or that fear or that. And the capacity to open to it actually is the path. It is the path itself.
I mean, I think I don't know how to abide without the compassion.
Right.
Because if I try to abide without the compassion, I'm drowning.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm in the story and I'm drowning in it.
Yes.
Unless I can have some self-compassion.
To feel for oneself. And Courtney mentioned a very important quality to that I think we need to do more of, which is literally to place one hand near one's own heart and feel for oneself. And I think the very act of doing it actually also signals to another, I am feeling this. I'm here with you, even if words aren't appropriate, right? Just this, I just had somebody do it yesterday in my office, and I literally stopped. I just talked with them about self-compassion. And as I was talking about something else, I felt a little bit of tension, and then I saw her. And then because I could see that, what could I do? I could do it with her, couldn't I? I could stop all that talking, as brilliant as it was, and feel with her. And then I know everything we could possibly do, honestly, has now been done. There is no more, let's do another audio. There is no more. It's, yes, this is it. Keep doing that. And then I'm going to do it with you, just like I was doing it with Courtney, even though Courtney was a long way away. Interestingly, this is what happens when you make a connection like that with someone, when you finally open completely. I almost called Courtney twice and said, stop thinking that. Stop thinking that. Stop going into she's gone and never going to come back. So I don't know what she's talking about when she says all right things happen, because this isn't the right thing. I almost did, right? She's laughing. Because in our connectedness, we know the whole truth. So it isn't just then that we open to compassion. We can open to the continued suffering. Like, I know. And I'm going to stay. And because I can stay, the chance is better that you can stay. And then when I can't stay, hopefully you can. Opening that door and that space for me. So based on just this alone, can you name the gifts that come with change? What are you hearing? Just call them out. What are they? Liberation. I heard something else. Freedom. What else? Resilience, ease. Creativity, connectedness.
Release.
Release. Not just relief. What else? Calm. Greater capacity to feel for the truth of this human life in all of its vicissitudes, right? The greater capacity. Just by this one, I am now greater. I don't mean in egoic frame, greater in its capacity to open more. And then in that one, more. Never diminishing, says the teachings. There is no way to reduce our compassion once it has been cultivated. You can't get less. You can get more, can't you? Because now this set of conditions and this arising and this quality of my own mind that I judge and these habits are all available, right? And so what would happen without change, just before we said? What would happen without it? Stagnation. Fossilization. I love that. Rockdom.
No growth.
No growth.
Discomfort.
Discomfort because you're frozen. Anybody ever be frozen? It's not that great. No future, no capacity, no potential, no opening to anything. Stuck, I guess it'd be the word for that. How many people like that feeling? Not me. And yet we stick ourselves this quality of a mind. There is a quality of the mind that sticks us, doesn't it? With if I could just keep everything stable, right? This is the myth and the wish and the lie. It's all of that, isn't it? If I could just line this up, then, and mostly what we're lining up is, anybody know? It's not the batteries in the drawer. I've told that story a bunch of times about my brother, right? It's not the things that we're lining up that are actually our biggest problem. What are we lining up? If it could only be like this, then that it is control of what?
Safety. Security.
That's what we're seeking. What are we controlling? Feeling
Pain.
pain. The idea that we can control pain is there, right? So control is there. Denial is certainly now there, right? You're not attractive to anyone else because you're usually trying to do it to them, right? And I don't mean attractive, of course, but you're not someone to approach because you're trying to manage, control them, or if it's not others, what else are we trying to control? Ourselves. Really, we are some false version. Joko was big on this. She said the falsity of you is what arises in these moments of trying to control. The falsity of you. That's as far from you as you could possibly be because it has nothing to do with the natural flow of life. And Brad used a word like creativity, connectedness is not possible there, is it? It's just not possible. In fact, it's what gets in, it is our hindrance. We were at San Diego Food Bank yesterday on an amazing tour. Our board will talk more about it. We're going to get involved with them. It was spectacular. They do things that the oldest food bank, official food bank, 1977. They got more years than anybody. And not only do they have years, they have innovation, growth, development of skillful, right? Cindy took the pictures for us. We'll show some of them. Their way of composting the extra food. Wow, this is mind blowing. The pig farmers that they now have involved to take the things they can't compost. It just went on layers and layers and layers of goodness, right? And in the midst of the layers of this goodness, here's the woman, and she's sitting over there. And she's triggered me from the moment I put eyes on her.
Yes,
I barely have to look at her.
I'm looking at her.
She's looking at me because I'm going, and I already know, there is no problem but me. And I already know. And I'm going, uh-oh, she's a, no, I'm not going to put the, doesn't matter. She's a that. And then she helps me because she opens her mouth. And she says, how do you keep people from taking extra? What do you have lined up here so that those lying cheaters, thieves, she doesn't say this is me. How do you know when they're in line that they really need the stuff?
Favorite was when she said, shouldn't they have to pay something?
Shouldn't they pay something to get the food? Right? And I'm going, trigger, 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 trigger. And Lisa's sitting next to me, and it was a good thing that Lisa was next to me because she's looking at me like, uh-oh, this is not looking good. Because we just don't say anything. Just don't say anything. And I wasn't going to say anything. I was actually breathing because I thought, this is going to be a problem every time any of us solidifies anything. And so I had to keep reminding myself. I wasn't tapping, but I should have been. I was reminding myself she is likely a mother and a wife and a daughter. She is also likely fearful. She is also likely come from a set of conditions where this doesn't make sense, right, to her at all, right? And I just had to keep reminding myself. And in the face of all of that, I didn't get that far. The truth was, I could say it, I couldn't yet, but I was saying it, and I counted that as something. The thing I really needed to do would have been what? Forget about her.
Comfort yourself.
I should have said, she terrifies me. I am now fully, officially terrified that everybody from her neighborhood thinks just like that. And I'm terrified. And I should have just said that and tapped and gone, this isn't really about her, because it really wasn't. It was about my own fear. And out of my own fear, not just fear, what else is it about? Fear is just one. What else?
Judgments.
Judgments, opinions, solidifying, and then my hopelessness. As long as there are people like you, we're never going to be okay. Nope. Hopelessness. And that hopelessness is dangerous, isn't it? Because from that, we stop. We stop going, doing, sitting in the rooms, going on the tour. Like that was right. And of course, we're not going to do any of that. That's just for me to know I'm terrified. And I get to be, right? And I get to be on my side in the face of it. And then I can, there with a little ease, go, I don't think there's a quick fix today. I think it's going to be a long road, in fact. But I am committed to that. And in that reminder, right, I could come a little bit back to myself. There's the reminder. She's not the problem.
It's also terrifying to think that that could be a part of us.
Yes, it is a part of us.
Yeah.
Just like she was judging them, I was judging her.
And I spoke with her as we were leaving that room and then going on a tour, and she had her own fears
Of
about,
course.
well, if we're giving to everybody and there are people that aren't receiving,
Yes.
then we can't serve as many. Like
Absolutely.
so she had her own fears in that of,
She
well,
did.
if you don't make people pay something, at least they're invested if they pay something, even if it's a little bit, like even if it's 50 cents, even if it's $1. So she was just very
Fearful.
yeah.
Well, she had to have been because she stimulated mine. That's how I knew. Right. We just took different sides of that fear uh, discussion. She went, we better be careful. And I went, we better give it all away. It doesn't matter, does it? What matters is, can we both, in common humanity, recognize that we're both afraid? She's afraid and I'm afraid, and we just have different ideas about how we're going to make that
And I
happen.
thought it was great to have the question, because that question is there.
It is
Kind of
there, and
always there.
Yeah,
it is
honestly,
there.
it is.
The question is there enough? And the belief, which I think is larger, that there is not enough. Even before fear, I think there is a fact-based. We've now concretized it, which is there is not sufficient amounts. And in fact, if we're just giving this stuff away, we're all going to not be okay. That's what she was saying. And I was saying, if we don't give it away, we're not going to be okay. Right? And I'm not picking, there's no right or wrong of it. I'm not pitching a side. I'm saying, can we then, and only in the self compassion then, could I release? Could I be liberated? Could I let it go? Her fear is my fear. It's the same fear. We just have different ideas about its solution, right? But now we're open, and now we're going to have conversation and go, how do we do this together? And I don't know either. Yeah, there's a right there. I understand, I understand. If we can remember this, we can then once again be sisters and brothers, right? You get to be afraid, and I get to be afraid too. And if we can talk about that at all or name it, and I was trying to figure out how to, like, how do I do that? Um, and I didn't see a way because I was in too much judgment still. Going, she is a part of what's going to ruin, right? My fear. She is a part of that thing that is going to destroy this country. And look at all the solidifying of that.
You know, I think that one of the things that struck me as well is in not combating what she's saying, but sort of to try to widen her view
Yes,
when they would speak to examples of people that they serve,
yes,
because it's arguing about those people that are taking tuitions or those people that aren't paying.
yes,
They were talking about, for instance, military families and what a typical military family would look like and what they don't make and, you know, how difficult it is. And now in particular, how difficult it's going to be. Putting a real face to that lived
yes,
experience,
yes.
you know, I felt like there were little bits of light maybe there.
Yes, they did a really good job.
They did a really nice job. And not in a preachy sort of
Not
way.
at
I mean,
all.
these people are
And
amazing.
in a genuine way, the person who gave us the tour has
Oh, yeah.
been a recipient of the food bank
Yes.
herself on two occasions in her life. That's really putting a face to it because you're talking to her. Very important, isn't it? That it doesn't become the somebody else, and that I don't make her the somebody else either, right? That I don't do it. I'm going to tell you three things that some specialists had to say, experts. Norman Fisher says the breath of Dharma itself is the reality of change. Every breath new, every phenomenon, a recreation of the world. Compassion is its only response. This is it. So how would you know? I am seeing clearly. How would you know? You wouldn't get more judgmental. You couldn't. You wouldn't get more hateful. You couldn't. You wouldn't get more separated. You couldn't. Could you? You'd go, oh, I'm getting it because that's exactly how I'm feeling. Just like her. Just like her. And then we can use compassion not only as the antidote to hatred, judgment, delusion, we can actually see it grow by its application more. And you can use it then as a litmus, can't you? Couldn't you? You could go, am I seeing this clearly? Well, check in on your compassion. Wouldn't that be a vote? Like if I'm going, wah, 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 the answer is no. You are not seeing this clearly. You are not seeing this clearly. As long as you have the capacity to other, you are not close enough to you, your own distress, or the others. And by the way, each direction is a good one. Pick whichever one is available to you. But let's use compassion, my own open heart, as the evidence for my mindfulness and wisdom. They are inherently grown together like a rope. Joseph Goldstein reminds us that understanding suffering gives rise to compassion, not depression. I like that addition. When we resist suffering, we contract around the illusion of safety and permanence. Illusion. I love that. It's simply a great idea. We're actually in shutdown, making ourselves sicker. There is no safety there. It doesn't exist. Even when you think, I've got the walls, I've locked the windows, I got the doors closed, we're all good. It's not true. You're actually suffocating in there. And we forget, don't we? As long as I can keep that out, I'm good. Jack Kornfield says self-compassion is a discipline. I also appreciate this. It must be practiced, right? It cannot just be felt. We get into the idea that self-compassion is a feeling. It is not. It is a quality of mind and heart. join together and can be disciplined. We're going to talk about how. And then compassion is always an action. It is not, this takes us out of this idea that it's a feeling, that is if I feel it, it's good enough. And the answer is no, it isn't. No, it isn't. That's not yet compassion. That is empathy. And empathy counts, doesn't it? It is an essential base to compassion, but it is not sufficient in and of itself. To do what? Not sufficient to do what? Now we're going to say not sufficient. Empathy is necessary, but not sufficient.
Do you want to do the aspiration?
To do what?
Are we doing the aspiration?
Yeah, we're going to after this. Thank you. To take action. Empathy is not sufficient to cultivate the quality of your own heart mind, necessary for skillful, beneficial action. It is not sufficient. Why? You'll drown in the river with the person. You will not go, wait a minute, my jumping in, it may not be best for us all. For us all. But in empathy, we are just in the skin of, we talk about it that way, in the suffering of, feeling the truth, but not sufficient. Compassion is greater, larger, more, and is that which has the capacity to change. You're changing the quality of your own heart mind. Empathy is a good start. Okay, Libby, you've got the aspiration. Can you say it a little extra loud so everybody can hear it? We're going to prepare to sit.
May we gather with hearts open to the truth of change. May our practice reveal compassion born of impermanence. May wisdom arise through our willingness to let go, and may our shared aspiration bring benefit to all beings.
And we're just breathing that in, letting it marinate, letting it make contact. And one of the things I've been working on with people, because of our strong early Vipassana training, there is a little bit of a tendency to grip the breath. And we're trying to create a little bit more spacious sense of breathing. And so remember, we can make contact with the body as it is weighting into the ground. That's one beautiful way to establish ourselves mindfully and present. But grabbing the breath is not skillful. It is not wise. You would be better to rest in the whole body, feeling the sense of the body in open space would be a second awareness. And then to use the breath very gently, with a lot of friendliness, to just gently sweep and scan the body at those essential contact points. The feet, the seat, the hands, and the uprightness of the head. And then within that frame, that larger frame of awareness, you will notice naturally the breath arising and passing. Can anybody pick that up? This is a much better way to be gentle, friendly, without demand for gluing the mind to the breath. This is not very compassionate if we're doing it, if we're gluing. So we're resting, abiding the body, abiding the vast open space in which it sits, And in that abiding, with that spaciousness, we begin to make contact with this arising, passing reality of change, living and dying, each breath. And then may we breathe for all beings, those who are well and those who are ill. Until all beings are free. And so we are both grounded and spacious. See if you can feel into the arising truths, both of them appearing with each breath. Can you feel the natural grounding of the body to the earth with each out breath? Let it soften and settle. On the in-breath, can we open and expand our view beyond this body breath to what we call the universal or absolute breath? Sometimes we say it like the breath breathing you. Beyond the breather, the reality of this open space as a part of you, as an essential reality, as a part of your own qualities of heart mind. I am not just the body. I am that which holds the body in that open, vast sky-like quality of awareness. These are two essentials. Let's rest here for a bit and practice. And when we notice the mind wandering rather than be judgmental, critical, rather than feeling failed, rather than buying into some identity of being not good enough, or I can't get it right, or I was never good at this, see if you could just simply feel for yourself in this moment. Our distraction only arises from one thing: our own distress. And so we could feel for ourselves. We could literally put the hand on the chest in the moment, noticing the mind wandering, gently tap and acknowledge this is a moment of difficulty, even if I can't quite line it all up yet. And can I come back just to this compassionate heart, willingly abiding in this body that does likely have some information? Can I once again be mindful, attentive, and also caring? And can I stay with myself then? And my own practice simply is to breathe, continue breathing, of course, as you will, but I direct the breath a little bit into the heart space. I want to see if there's anything there that might offer me wisdom rather than just fleeing or shutting down. And if you notice any particular sensations, this is a real opportunity to see if you can't move a little bit closer rather than run, flee, or just join back to the breath. That can be an avoidance strategy. Can we stay in contact and then move a little closer? So I'm feeling an achiness, and I'm just checking in on that. I don't have to make anything out of it. It's just to abide the sensation itself. I'm noticing, just as an example, a sort of sharpening mindfulness, a sharpening attention. This is the gift of our ever changing reality. I can see that compassion is brewing, useful, available here. I don't have to change anything. And then you'll know there's a little evidence that things are stable or quieted, or and you can just open back to the breath as it moves in the body in open space. Or you can stay engaged in that particular experience. This is also a good use of our formal practice. And in our self-compassion training, what we know is we name all experience that is moves us from the object of meditation, whatever it is. We recognize that as resistance, as difficulty, as distress. This is not a blame, this is not shaming or judging. It's simply an acknowledgement so that we can feel for ourselves. Can I feel for myself in this moment of distraction, recognizing it as a movement away from the truth? And can I invite myself home? Beyond thinking, into the direct experience, whatever that is. Can I be with myself with gentleness, with tenderness and regard, however I am right now? And then I'd like you to expand and cultivate this heart mind a bit more by recollecting a moment of judgment. A moment of judgment, just like the one I was talking with you about that happened for me yesterday. And can you stay with yourself in this moment? First, you get to cultivate it and see where the contraction is, where the shutdown is, where the numbness is in your own heart, mind, and body, and just abide there for a time. See if you can feel the actual reality of contraction in the body. Mine is again right in my heart space where I can pick things up pretty easily. And see if you can't breathe with, around, and in if that's workable. But at least create space and abiding the breath, abiding the body, abiding sensations, and then qualities of the heart, qualities of the mind. And in the being with, in the breathing with, in the staying, we cultivate a friendliness. A resilience, a freedom from defining ourselves by this contraction. The heart mind is bigger, ever changing, ever growing, with a little greater capacity. We're staying with the experience, the sensations, or expanding them. That could be another sensation. That could actually be another experience that sort of we are choosing, that it keeps us engaged in where our triggers have been, where our shutdowns have occurred, or an insight about our own tenderness. All usable. As you breathe this final moment, offering yourself phrases of kindness or compassion. May I hold myself with compassion in this moment and in each moment. And then for just a moment, we're going to expand that heart circle beyond ourselves to include all those who know this suffering too. Might be a loved one, it might be the person who you were judging, a person in co-fear, and see how that compassionate heart grows. And then letting go, just resting in the vast open space. This is the best place for the cultivation of wisdom and compassion. Open, skylight quality of mind and heart. May we utilize this compassionate capacity with our ever-growing mindfulness, knowing this is the path to the end of suffering. and may we continue until its end. Apologies to the Zoom crew. We got cut off, I think, a time or two. You got a lot of open space to work in, which is never a bad thing as well. Um, apologies, we don't know what happened. Like too often, we don't know. And so, can you feel the effects? And can you feel the benefits of how our compassion practice nourishes our mindfulness? Yes. I'm more capable of staying if we're not being critical, judgmental, even in the face of distress, right? We take off some of the demand to use then our practice as some kind of spiritual bypassing, I think, which is if I could stay with this, then it would go away. And what I notice, particularly when I can utilize compassion, is it doesn't go away, but it becomes more workable. And sometimes the actual experience gets a little more intense if I can create space or allow it to happen. And still, it's more workable, even in its distress, because I'm not judging it as failed. I'm not judging it as something that needs to be different or to go away or has to be different at all. There's more room and space and more regard in which to hold it, even when it's a moment of difficulty. Right? Can anybody feel that? Like I'm going to be here. And nothing magic. It's not like it went away. In fact, oftentimes it gets more intense for a time, especially if you're just turning towards it uh, in this way for a first time. And then what I've noticed is that I could feel for the woman. I could feel for the woman and her fear and her contractedness, which was exactly like mine. I'm just better at not looking like that. And I could hold her too. And did anybody see that? If you were in that moment of judgment, you could feel for the other without demand, without it's got to look like I've got to do this. In fact, it doesn't work when we do it that way. You might just stay with you and stay with you and stay with you. And a lot of people have said to me, I don't know, this is a lot of me. I'm just not sure I'm going to ever get over there. And I'm absolutely certain you will. And it will be in its right time. So you just stay.
I feel that I can't find words for compassion. I just have to be with myself. And it could be in action towards myself. It could be my hand on my heart or my gut. But it's very rare that I could actually find words because I feel like the words are trying to, I'm going to say the word, kind of gloss over
Yes.
what the fear or pain is.
Yes.
And for me to say everything will be okay, well, I don't know if everything will be okay. I just know
Yes.
that I just need to be here for myself.
Yes. Yes. So let me say something about that to the group. Cindy's saying the words can sometimes maybe even be a bypass. The words can be a gloss over, was the word she used. The words can be everything's going to be okay. I think that's very dangerous to use everything will be okay. Uh, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's an aspiration. The aspiration is ultimately about the quality of me in relationship to the truth that nothing may be okay, not the idea that it will be. And in fact, that was something with Court. It was I never said to Courtney when she lost Pearl, everything's going to work out. It's not written anywhere. The dog's going to get found. I didn't say that. Why? I'm setting up everybody, aren't I? It's a setup because in the nature, the truth of change, there is loss, isn't there? There is pain. There is fear. We're not, it isn't like, and then it'll all go away, is bypassing. So I'd rather you not come up with any words and just be with yourself. That's a beautiful practice. And then feel for yourself, genuinely. Those are all the important parts. I don't. The words will come for those people who are word people, maybe, or who are practiced. That's the other thing. That's why those repetitions are offered. They're offered as, and then this can just uh, further enliven, embody this for me out of practice. I don't know if most people come up with brilliant ideas on the spot. They tend to be more repetitive and out of training. I can offer this genuinely and have a felt sense of it, not just the words. The words themselves are not sufficient.
And I do find that I could, that comes, may I be well, may they be well, may, you know, that does come
Yeah,
easily,
probably.
like, for me.
I bet probably it does because you've been doing this a while. You've heard that for a while and likely said it for a while. And so that might be what arises. But I don't think you have to force anything. I think it'd get in the way. Like now which is why I make more than one offering. You might do it this way, you might do it that way, right? It might be an image for you, it might be a word, it might just be a feeling, a physical felt sense of openness or ease, or right? Wouldn't that all be great? And is one better than another? No, not if you're making it happen. If you can create space to allow it, maybe I'm just breathing into that tight spot. And then I'm breathing into the tight spot. And then I'm saying, yep, here I am, me and me with the tight spot. Can I stay? Can I open? Is there any possibilities here? Can I be with? This is more than good enough. That's the real practice. The words are just pointers always, right? Of possibility. I don't I don't have 10 till. Other thought, thank you, Cindy, for that, because we can construct a lot of bypassing with our practice. And there are some people where a word never comes in the whole of their lifetime, but doesn't mean they don't feel with depth or feel compassion deeply. And in fact, most of the compassionate people I know don't know the word compassion. They don't even know the word. They're just people who have cultivated that mostly out of the truth of their suffering.
You mentioned, you know, saying something to somebody that, like everything's going to be fine. And I did that with somebody, and I still remember it. It's absolutely the wrong thing.
Yes.
And
Yeah. It's to comfort us.
and
Mostly.
it was to comfort me.
Yeah.
It
It's us.
was a point where he was explaining something that was going on for him with his health, and it was very bad.
Yeah.
And for my discomfort, I said something like,
Reassuring.
everything's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And I immediately, it was like, I just felt like, oh my God, this is
Yes.
not truth.
No.
And really, the most important thing I could do was just to be a witness right there with him.
That's right.
And not start going on with what's going on in my head about
That's
it.
right. And our own fear, or just acknowledge our fear.
Yeah.
Like, I can really, this feels scary. This is hard. I can feel it myself. This is painful. Just honoring the truth of that moment and not getting into the fixing or the even fixing with compassion, which we can then step in there.
Yeah, fixing.
We fix with compassion. I'll be compassionate as a fix. Well, that's probably it'll come off tinny, and it will be. It'll come off as let me offer you this so I can get out of here, get out of this. The other thing is, can I just stay in the pain of it? And that might just be breathing, that might be just honoring the person with your presence and the truth of that. And sometimes the saying of it's just right, because that person could benefit from that, and or you could, but that's okay too. If that saying it, this is scary, this is hard, this is painful, this is difficult, can help you stay, also, that could be useful. And at least honoring yourself in that way would be really useful. Whether you said it out loud or not, who cares? But if you to go, ugh, I don't know, my own heart's breaking here.
Um, I
Oh, sorry. Yes.
I was just gonna say I found when all of this happened, uh, it was very easy for me to start off with the blame of the other, the blame of the dog sitter, the blame of their actions. How could she? All of this. And um, it was actually a really beautiful gift to see the realization of the judgment,
Yeah.
to know that there was no part of her that actually wanted to lose Pearl, have any of that happen. She was unskillful with the way that she handled it,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, everybody's reactivity, everybody's reaction to all of these fears, the blame isn't there. And I think when I started to get really curious and see first off that the blaming was a fix for my feel of failure,
That's
for
right.
my feelings of that I hadn't done enough, that I hadn't done enough to protect Pearl, that I should have done all of these other things.
That's
When
right.
I could sit with that and see that,
Yes.
and I'm still actually seeing it, and I'm still working on letting go.
Yes.
That it created more ease.
Yes.
And then I just also wanted to thank this Sangha, uh, because even if thank God that she came back, but even if she did not come back, the amount of love that I felt from this group, from this community, from people that I was traveling with, from complete strangers that were calling to check on me and to check on Pearl was such a beautiful gift of the reminder of the kindness of humanity
Yes.
and the love that was there. And I honestly believe that that is why she's back.
Yes.
It's because of that love. It's because of being held and because I was able to be vulnerable enough to voice my fears to complete strangers and allow them to hold it too.
Yes.
So I just wanted to say thank you to all of you, for any of you that sat in care and compassion for me and little Pearl as she
Yeah.
was adventuring in the wilderness for 8 days.
Adventuring. Maybe having a better time than you.
Definitely.
Definitely. Yeah.
So thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you. I think it's a real opportunity for all of us because we all care about something, don't we? We all care about something. And the feeling of the loss of that, and then worse, the feeling of feeling responsible for that is a very difficult moment in which to not bring judgments to ourselves, to others, um, to life. And so that is a big practice. And that you know that others are practicing with you and practicing it too is very important because it's not easy practice, is it? No, it's not easy to stay present in the face of loss, uh, particularly of these unconditionally loving beings of ours, right? Yeah, thank you. I think that's probably good enough, don't you think? I think we get it. And really, I have myself not understood compassion to be as essential as it is always. And because I do now, I feel like, oh, I better get at it. This better become a very important part of the reality for me and my life. And I love that we're doing it together. It helps us all, just like Courtney said. So thank you all. We're going to sit and recite our prayer, and then Renee is going to read the dedication at the end of the prayer. And she has it right there in her hand. And just feeling back into the body, just seeing how you really are. And remember, I do the body as a whole, as a just sweep, and then naturally move into the heart space or the breathscape. And we're just doing that little litmus testing. How are we? And the body never lies. And we cultivate first that ignite the heart of bodhicitta once again, the one that only grows, the one that is never diminished, the heart that takes a licking and keeps on ticking. It doesn't flag in the face of difficulty. It is not true. What happens is our own fear arises and we get caught by it. And in that capture, we end up causing more harm. In the recognition of it, then compassion is now possible. And so we rest in that capacity, in that possibility, and recite the Bodhisattva prayer. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and the sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened. Anytime, Renee.
May the merit of this meditation nourish peace in our own hearts and in the world. May we remember that change is not our enemy, but our teacher. And may compassion be the song that carries us through all transformations.
May we all be happy. May we all be free from distress and the causes of distress. May we be grateful for our good fortune and wish good fortune for all beings. May we rest and dwell in the vast, open, sky-like quality of the compassionate heart, free from fear, free from hatred, free from ignorance. And may this practice contribute this very day. So be it. Thank you all so much. I can feel compassion growing. And if I can feel it growing in me, I know it's growing in you as well. We get to use each opportunity then of harshness, of aggression, of judgment, of criticism as the opportunity, don't we? There it is, right there in front of us, the perfect lesson plan, right there. And if you can't feel for the other, as I know you may not be able to, as I couldn't that moment, can you come back and feel for yourselves? And I believe we can. I think we've got enough long time practice. We can feel for ourselves in that difficulty. And there's Pearl. Oh, wait, I got to show everybody. There's Pearl. Pearl was gone for how many days, Courtney?
She was gone for 8.
8 days.
Oh my gosh.
Pearl was happily trolloping in the mountains. I think in the forests, in the
10,000 feet, thousands and thousands of acres.
thousands and thousands of acres. Having a, how was she found? Everybody wants the end to the happy story.
She, Adam was searching for her, got an alert that she had been seen up on the mountain, and went back up there to bait some little traps and stuff that he had set for her, and felt something on the back of his leg, and it was her jumping up. So she found him.
Wow.
She found him finding her.
He found her, she found him.
Yeah, she found him.
She found him. Yes, so that's Pearl, everybody who hasn't seen her. And that's Courtney, who's very, very happy that Pearl was found.
And she was in good shape.
She was in great shape, wasn't she?
She was, yeah. She just lost weight, but the vet said she's good.
Yeah, feet, little feet stuff. But she managed to, yeah, she did all right. She's a rugged dog.
She's a warrior.
Oh, thank you for sharing that with us, Courtney. That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you so
Love
much.
to you. Love to everyone. Be well.
You.
Bye-bye.